You mean to tell me that more Republicans were proud to be an American during the Obama years than right now? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you are telling me? Donald Trump got to come out in blackface or something. He got to come out in blackface because that's going to land harder than them Melania reviews. I can tell you that right now. That's nuts. Coincidentally, Melania probably feels the same way. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members, and don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Hey Maga, this you?
President Trump is a mighty man, running this country the best that he can.
Huh? Bad Bunny said love is more powerful than hate? But they Magas, they be fine. I gotta say something positive about the Magas. That red on them hats ain't faded since y'all don't be wearing them hats no more. How's that? Oh, I know, I got it.
In a new interview with NBC News, President Trump took ownership of the current state of the economy, saying, "I'm very proud of it," he said. This comes as there is new polling showing that many voters are not as happy as the president with the way that things are going with said economy. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, is running the numbers on this, but also speaks to the changing nature of President Trump's base right now. Talk me through this.
Yeah, okay. So if you know anything about Donald Trump, you know that he built his 2 presidential victories on winning voters without a college degree, while Donald Trump's base with non-college voters is absolutely collapsing.
Okay. Oh, okay. But hey, that's not what he said. Without a college degree is that ain't what he said. We remember what he said.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
I know. I know. And what I said was, if they referred to me that way, that would be disqualifying. You know what I mean? Imagine you went out on a date and she was like, I mostly date the uneducated, if I'm honest. They find me the most appealing is the uneducated. That's kind of. You still buying dinner?
Well, why don't we just take a look? Voters without a college degree on Donald Trump. Look at this. Back in 2024, he won those voters over Kamala Harris by 14 points. You come over to this side of the screen. What's his net approval rating with him? He is underwater by 9 points. That's a 23-point switcheroo with his base of non-college voters. He is absolutely collapsing with the group of voters that helped put him into the White House, Kate.
Okay, Magas. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay, all right. Was it the phone thing? Was it the phone thing? Y'all made me. You remember how many of y'all signed up for that? Y'all had me nervous.
I even got a fraud alert from my credit card company when I tried to put in that $100 deposit, saying, "Hey, are you really trying to buy this Trump phone here?" This is nonetheless something that I imagine a lot of other people that have been trying to buy this in earnest are experiencing as well, Kate.
So the bank tried to save you. The bank was saying, wait, $100 for what? Wait, pull that picture up. Pull that phone back up. Nah, Fraud alert. And what name? Trump? Fraud alert. Hey, did y'all ever get those phones? You got beepers? How were you able to vote in the... You beeped in your disapproval?
how are these non-college voters feeling about 2026?
Okay, so you see this drop of 23 points, right? From plus 14 Trump to now he's underwater by 9 points. How is that impacting their views on how they're going to vote for Congress? Well, you see a similar story going on here, right? Take a look. In the 2024 election, Republicans won those voters, those non-college voters, by 13 points. Now they're just ahead by just 1, 2, 3, 4 points. When you can count it on one hand, you know that you're in trouble if you're Donald John Trump and the Republican Party, in this case, the Republican Party, when it comes to the voters in Congress. And of course, a 4-point lead among non-college voters is not anywhere close to being good enough because Democrats are dominating among voters with a college degree, up by 20 points. At this point, the Democratic base with college voters is rising, and the Republican base with non-college voters is collapsing.
Now, I'm thrilled. It's the plus 4 for me. It's the plus 4 for me because if Trump has lost 23 points, I did that math in my head. Now, I didn't need a college degree for that. But hey, if Trump has lost 23 points and the GOP has lost 9 points, that means there's a significant faction of the Magas without a college degree that have stayed true to the Republican Party despite turning on Trump. Now, in the before times, that would be understandable, right? There's a chasm of differing thought even within political parties. In the before times, who is the representative that you still rocking with when you turned on Trump? Unless it's Thomas Massey or Marjorie Taylor Greene, that don't make sense. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Brown.
One of the big promises, circling back to the economy, one of the big promises from President Trump was bringing back manufacturing jobs. And that speaks to somewhat of the split that you're kind of highlighting here. What are the hard numbers on this?
Yeah, okay. One of the reasons why Donald Trump has been able to bring non-college voters into the Republican ranks is because he said, hey, I'm going to bring back those jobs, those manufacturing jobs that were lost to free trade, right? Bring in those tariffs, restrict those jobs from moving overseas. But there's just a bit of a problem going on here. How about those manufacturing jobs? In December of 2025, compared to the beginning of the Donald Trump presidency, the manufacturing jobs have gone adios amigos. See you later. They've been going away, down 63,000 versus January of 2025, with an even larger collapse since Liberation Day, right? So what we're dealing with is a Donald Trump message that is not actually meeting the reality, and that is why non-college voters have been going away from the President of the United States and away from Republicans as well.
Now, one thing that was hilarious in that whole visual was the fact that we still calling it Liberation Day. Oh yeah, Trump, we gonna use your phrases. We gonna lose your now Liberation Day. Wait till they get a load of the Save America Act. Wait till they get a load of that. Now, here's the thing, Magas, which I find just fascinating, because one of the things he said was a Donald Trump message that's not meeting the reality. There was nothing but messaging before, though. The man had concepts of a plan. Now, I gotta be nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Fine.
Chat, be really nice, please. Chat, please be nice.
Now, one thing that must be mentioned is I am happy to see people acting in their own best interest. I'm being positive. I'm being positive. I'm happy to see people acting in their own best interest. I'm happy to see that people are actually holding our administration accountable. I just want to ask those people how they think it feels to have seen this before the election. Like, how do you think? They was taking pictures going to see Melania. That was like last week. Are you proud? Are you proud, MAGAs?
There has been a major shift over the last decade among young adults in terms of how they feel, their pride in being an American. Because what are we talking about here? Well, let's just take a look. Under age 35, pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. You go back a decade ago under Barack Obama, it was 71% of those under the age of 35 were extremely or very proud to be American. That number has fallen through the floor. Look at this now. That number has fallen in half. Now just 36% of those under the age of 35 are either extremely or very proud to be an American. And this is a number that we've seen across the polling data. There has just been a major shift, a historic shift in the pride that young Americans feel for their country.
I got a question. Who was president in 2015? Who? Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. He gonna post another monkey meme. Watch. Hey, when he gonna post another monkey. That's gonna hurt him more than anything. They don't. Hey, so apparently Megyn Kelly was right when she said we haven't felt the same since Obama. She was right about that. She was right about that. We ain't felt the same about you since Epstein.
He was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive.
Why did Megyn Kelly just seem like she was getting turned on as she was explaining why she got problems with Obama? It was like, he was just such a affable guy. He just always wore good suits and just looked the part. But he just was so divisive by always shoving things down our throat.
Let's break that down by party. Do you have this over the same period of time among Democrats?
Yeah, okay. So there are two reasons why pride in this country are falling. One is younger Americans. The other is Democrats. Okay, let's take a look here. This is from 2013 to late 2025, a slightly different survey, but if you look at the same survey that I was looking at on the first slide, it's the exact same story. Democrats' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2013, it was 83% under Barack Obama. Look at this number now. Just 31% of Democrats say they are extremely or very proud to be an American. That is the lowest number on record. When you combine both youth and being a Democrat, that number falls into the 20s, falls into the 20. Young Democrats, Generation Z Democrats, less than 30% of them are either extremely or very proud to be an American. So what we're seeing here is both age as well as partisanship playing a major role in the fact that pride and the proudness to be an American, either extremely or very proud, is at record lows. Yeah.
That's the lowest number on record ever. Hey, put it on a plaque, Donnie. Put it on a plaque. Put it right next to your Obama plaque over there. And my you know what? I heard they got plaques that have audio now. You could play that. You could play that tank squealing down during the parade. You could play that tank squealing for its life. That's the way the approval's looking right now. It's still higher than the 31. You still higher than the 31. I can't believe that is the lowest number on record. That's nuts. That's lower than when the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead. That's lower than during the whole 5th season of Martin. That's lower than when New Edition broke up. That's lower than the whole run of MASH. That's lower than when they gave Crash the Oscar. That's lower than when Mike Tyson lost to one of the Paul brothers in a thong. I just referenced that the other day. It's still front of mind.
Just look at the time period for Democrats that is in line with how politics have changed. How about Republicans?
Okay, this is where it gets interesting, right? Because you mentioned, right, and I had mentioned that Barack Obama was president in the mid-2010s, and now Donald Trump, a Republican, Democrat to Republican being president. But what about Republicans? Their numbers have actually stayed pretty steady. So let's take a look at this exact same poll. Republicans' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2013, it was 92%. By late 2025, pretty close, right? 80%, maybe a slight fall in this PRI survey. But I will note in the Gallup poll, which measures over a similar period, there was no change. There was no change. So what we're seeing is we see younger people and Democrats really shifting away, shifting downward in their proudness to be an American, while Republicans have stayed pretty steady despite the partisanship of the president's changing, but Democrats very much shifting away as the partisanship of the president saying Donald Trump has really sort of changed the equation for young Americans and Democratic Americans, or those who identify as Democrats, while he really hasn't changed the equation when it comes to Republicans whose pride levels have actually remained fairly steady over the same period.
Harry Etten, you know we rock with you. We gonna have to get Steve Kornacki down here. No, because you don't bury the lead like that. Don't bury the. I don't want to hear about no Democrats and no young people. You mean to tell me that more Republicans were proud to be an American during the Obama years than right now? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you are telling me? Donald Trump got to come out in blackface or something. He got to come out in blackface because that's going to land harder than them Melania reviews. I can tell you that right now. That's nuts. Coincidentally, Melania probably feels the same way. I'm sure she probably feels the same. You know, because Michelle gave her like a good role model to look up to. She don't know what to do in the White House.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values.
That you work hard for what you want.
You work hard for what you want.
That your word is your bond.
That your word is your bond. That you do what you say you're going to do. That you treat people
with respect.
With dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
Now, I guess it does make sense because all while I was growing up, we had proud to be an American, you know, before we knew about the ends and all that from Hulk Hogan. But now our thought goes.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
That's so off-putting. That is so off-putting. Now I see why the 31. Now that makes sense with the 31. You remember back in the day when you would hear Lee Greenwood's proud to be an American, you know, back when we didn't know what his name was? You would hear proud to be an American and you didn't know that he was willing to throw you under the bus just for his own personal gain. Like you had no idea about that. Like you didn't know about that. Now that man out here opening for Laura Trump.
Without your bravery, we're all out of luck. No, this can't be denied. You gotta be special.
Well, Magas, I can tell you, without your bravery, we'd be out of luck. No, you can't even deny. You gotta be special. And I do mean that, very, very special to have ever found your way over there. But I'm glad you're here, and just know what the job is, okay? Y'all know what the job is?
This morning, there are Republicans across the country who are nervous. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis put this on Twitter. He said special elections are quirky and not necessarily projectable, re a general election. That said, a swing of this magnitude is not something that can be dismissed. Republicans should be clear-eyed about the political environment heading into the midterms.
And for the record, that was a guy who was walking around Alligator Alcatraz like he was given a tour and lifestyles of the rich and famous. This man was walking around Alligator Alcatraz like he was in MTV Cribs. And he wants to be serious about the environment going into the midterms. You ain't care nothing about the environment that the folks being held there was having to deal with, did you? You don't care about our eyes either, because you still be wearing them boots.
What are we talking about here? Okay, the average 2025-26 special election, Democrats are doing, get this, 12 points better. 12 points better than Kamala Harris did in 2024. You know, that was a state special election that happened in Texas on Saturday. If you look at the federal special elections, this 12 points is actually north of 15 points on average. I was looking back through the history books. This looks a whole heck of a lot like what we saw during the 2017-2018 cycle, where you saw these Democrats outperforming how Hillary Clinton did in 2016. And what did it forecast? It forecast a net gain of 40 seats for Democrats. And I remember back in Pennsylvania, remember there was that Southwestern, that was a congressional special election seat, but that was one in which the Democratic candidate was able to actually win a deeply red Republican district. And that, of course, foretold big Democratic gains come 2018.
Did he say 40 seats? 40 seats? I could give me a seat. They still redrawing down there in Virginia? Now, I can give me a Virginia seat. I qualify for Virginia citizenship. I got a pair of dirty running shoes that I walk around in, dirty running shoes, khakis, and leather jacket with a University of Virginia hat. Done.
How frequently do these special elections foretell what happens in the midterms?
Okay, so you see this 12-point overperformance. You see this 31-point overperformance. But that don't mean nothing if it ain't forecastable to the midterm elections. So what are we looking at here? Well, take a look at special elections since all the way back in the 2005-2006 cycle. 5 out of 5 times the party that outperforms in the special elections goes on to win the U.S. House of Representatives. And this, of course, all paints a picture, right? Texas 9, the special elections, the history of special elections, in which Democrats look like they're in the catbird seat to take back the U.S. House come 2026 November.
And Trump knows this, which is exactly why we're hearing this kind of talk.
These people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally. And amazing that the Republicans aren't tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win. Now, you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get, with a court order, the ballots. You're going to see some interesting things come out. But, like the 2020 election, I won that election by so much. Everybody does it. They put a woman in jail, Colorado, put a woman in jail, a wonderful woman, 72 years old, had cancer, because she was a voting inspector. She was in charge of a voting area, and she saw boxes of votes come in. So she went over to check it, and they put her in jail for voter manipulation, and she's still in jail. And they better let her out fast. And they're suffering a big price, Colorado. They have this woman in jail who's 71 years old and probably has cancer. She's sick. And they put her in because she challenged somebody that was dumping ballots into a box, okay? And they didn't put them in jail. This was during Biden's term. The worst president in history. And we had some bad ones. I mean, look, Barack Hussein Obama, I call him the Great Divider. Right. People couldn't stand him. You mentioned his name, they go crazy. They start booing the hell out of him. We had some really bad ones. I mean, Jimmy Carter wasn't exactly the greatest. Jimmy Carter didn't exactly have the hit on Venezuela that I had. Remember, his hits, they always turned out to be a disaster. Right. He went out, he had a hit. The helicopters were crashing into each other, the hostages and everything. That's why Ronald Reagan won the election. It was so pathetic. But we do it right. We've got the greatest military. I built the military. You know that in my first term. I built the military, even though they gave a piece of it away, but it's a lot, but it's still a piece compared to what I built. We have the most powerful military. And my attack on Iran with, Operation Midnight Hammer, where we wiped out their nuclear threat, which they would have had a nuclear weapon within a month, and we knocked it out. And our attack on Venezuela was, unbelievable. And the nice thing about Venezuela, we're getting along great now with the government. We talk to them every single day. We took 50 million barrels of oil. It's on its way right now to Houston to be refined. and we're going to help them a lot, and we're going to benefit by it also. It's going to be great. It's going to be an amazing place.
Did they really let Dan Bongino just go right back into podcasting? Maga. Come on, Maga. You can't. He right back into podcasting to talk about all the stuff he didn't do when he was at the FBI? Well, what is he going to be able to say? Like, you have a man with a microphone who can't tell you about the reason why he didn't do none of the stuff that he said he was going to do last time he had a microphone. Anyway, he yawls now. No, he yawls now. By the way, I'm surprised Cash Patel lasted this long without Dan. I am not that Dan was competent, but Dan was covering for him. Dan was covering for him. Maybe they like to isolate us, just to make sure it's one. We know if anybody asks where Cash is, did he take a flight to go see a country show? They know if they saw something brown, it was Cash. So maybe that's why it is. But Cash been staying put. Now I asked the question coming out of Renee Good's death, and I asked the same question coming out of Alex Preddy's death. Could you imagine a scenario where the administration would have come out and said anything other than what they said? So what is their explanation and their stance actually then mean? And I would like to echo that here, because he's talking about taking over elections. Well, you have to tell me when you have ever accepted a result that did not favor you. Have you ever accepted a result that did not favor you? 2020 was rigged. States you lost in 2024 were rigged. We can go all the way back to The Apprentice where you were claiming stuff was rigged. So that's going to be a bit of a problem from a trust standpoint. See, like if you wanted us to trust you in that position, you've gone 180 degrees the absolute wrong way. And also not be Donald Trump. That would help too. Trusting you to run an election would be like trusting Turning Point USA to run a halftime show.
The media swarms and the networks lie, but he doesn't. She's a fearless guy.
Harry, do Americans trust Donald Trump when it comes to running the elections?
No, they trust him about as much as they trust him to be modest. I mean, just take a look at these numbers right here. I think this gives the game away. Trump committed to free and fair elections. This is among all adults. What you see is just 43% of Americans actually do believe that Donald Trump is committed to free and fair elections. The clear majority, 56%, say no, 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 no. They do not believe that Donald Trump is committed to free and fair elections. And I will note it is the opposite for the Democratic Party, where you see the majority of Americans believe the Democratic Party is committed to free and fair elections, but they do not trust Donald Trump when it comes to his commitment to free and fair elections.
And maybe perhaps he keeps lying about the 2020 election that he lost. What about how independents are seeing this?
Okay, so you see this majority right here who say that Donald Trump is not committed to free and fair elections. And among independents, it is even worse. Take a look here. This is a group that Donald Trump has really been struggling with. And when it comes to his commitment to free and fair elections, they absolutely believe he is not. We're talking about 2 in 3 independents say, no, Donald Trump is not committed to free and fair elections. We're talking about just a third of independents believe that Donald Trump is committed to free and fair elections. They will view his current comments very negatively. And this, of course, just builds upon their continuing distrust and their deepening distrust of Donald Trump when it comes to his job for the president overall, and specifically to this question when it comes to his commitment to free and fair elections.
If that number doesn't slap you in the face, I don't know what will. But let's look overall. Who do Americans overall trust when it comes to running elections?
You know, there's this whole thing. Donald Trump, of course, wants to take the running of elections from the local communities, the local governments, and bring it up to the national government. But here's the thing. Americans believe that the elections in 2024 that were run in their community were run very well. We're talking about 69% of Americans say that the elections, in fact, in 2024 were run very well in their community. Compare that to just 43% of Americans who say that they were run very well in the United States. This idea that you're going to take local power away and give it to the federal government is a terrible idea per the American people, when just 22% at this point view the federal government favorably, and we have trust levels in the federal government at all-time lows.
What is fascinating about this is that Republicans have historically said states' rights.
Correct.
And don't want the federal government involved. And now we're seeing the president kind of flip this on its head.
Donald Trump has flipped a lot of things on his head, but on this particular issue, the American people are most certainly not with him.
He flipped Elon Musk on his head when he put his name out there like that, did he not? I think he absolutely did. Of course, he can't do no type of flipping on his head because, you know, the whole flap situation. How about the fact that 22% view the federal government favorably? How about that? Not to mention the 69% that thinks elections were run very well in their community. So the election denial is not landing.
This movement is over. And now the question is, what comes next? Trumpism is over. I hate to inform you, this administration is done. Stick a fork in it, it's fucking over.
Magas, I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing. You put your hat away, you pulled the flag down, take the shoes off. Yeah, take the shoes off. Yes, send me the Laura Trump album. Send me the Laura Trump albums. Back away from the Laura Trump albums. I got them. I'm going to take real good care of them. Don't worry about it. Your Melania DVDs, because I know y'all bought it on DVD. Just go ahead and send me those. It's time to turn over a new leaf. Well, look, if you want to get your lick back for being bamboozled and run amok, there's an election with your name on it. With your name. Your name. Like when you put your name at the top of the paper. You know, call your representative. Just call your representative and just let them know what it is. We'll start there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, but more importantly, thank you so much for your support of this channel. Hey, I didn't tell y'all to go over there. From Wanda, hi, just wanted to share this pic of Mr. Warren showing off your Kamala was right shirt on Don Lemon. Okay, I see you, Warren. I see you. Don don't look happy though. I didn't tell him go over there, Don. I didn't. No, we good. Hey, Don just came home. I don't want them problems. I don't. We good. I love. You look good though, Warren. I like that Kamala was right. You look. I like the t-shirt. It fits nice and slimming and everything. And by the way, I'll be offering discount codes every week during my Tuesday lives. So make sure you tune in live each and every Tuesday, every week in the month of February, and get the discount code for that day. Yeah. Oh, I haven't forgot about my members. I got a little special something for y'all too. Don't worry. No, it's not the new camera. I'm keeping that. But I did get a new camera though. Did y'all happen to notice? Yeah, that's right. You can see every nook and cranny on my face. So if this one day becomes a faceless channel, then you know why.
You look at it!
But sending some love out to Yorel and sending him a very happy birthday. Shout out to you, Yorel. And also some love out to Jasmine and Linda, aka Mom. Peace and light. I recently bought the Who Raised Y'all t-shirt for my mom, and honestly, it fits her spirit perfectly. I wanted to thank you because during her radiation and chemo treatments, your videos were non-negotiable. She never missed one. I'd sit with her, pull up your latest video, and we'd laugh, cry, get passionate about the world, and have a little discussion about humanity, even on the hard days. Your content is serious, real, and always good for a smile. You helped carry her through some heavy moments without even knowing it. Today, she's cancer-free, and we still watch your channel and talk about Brother Reese like you're part of the family. So from our whole crew, thank you for the laughs, the truth, and the light you bring. You really do help raise our spirits and challenge our mindset for the better. Jasmine, I want to thank you so much for that message, and congratulations to Linda on her survival and also on that beautiful smile. That meant so much to me to read. And if I was able to distract her from even a moment from what she was going through, that makes all of this worthwhile. And I'm so glad you communicated that, because those are the messages I need to hear and I need to remember when I'm battling and going through something. How much this platform allows us all to connect to one another and lean on one another's strength. So thank you so much for sharing that. And once again, congratulations to Linda. And on that note, I would like to send some love and some light over to a supporter that has brought me great joy over the course of the last couple months, and that is PoFolk. And I want to send a thank you to Michelle, who pointed me to what he was going through, because he is somebody that has a lot of people behind him in the same way that Linda did. I'll let him take us out.
Hey, y'all. Come look at this. I have cancer. I've been trying to keep it quiet, and people been asking why I wear the bonnet. But I've been diagnosed, and I'm in the hospital. I still been continuing to trying to make my videos, but I feel myself getting tired. So I don't think I'll be making as much videos as I used to. But I struggle with even making a post about this. But I had to, because I get so many comments and messages about how I make people feel good. And when they're struggling in their time of need, or they're in the hospital, or their family member is sick or going through somehow, bringing them laughter and joy. And I want to tell all y'all bring me laughter and joy. I don't read the comments on the toilet no more. I read them in my hospital bed. And I just want to say thank you guys. I might not be doing facial videos that much anymore, because, I'm losing my hair and stuff. But we're going to fight this. We're going to win this fight, and we're going to come back. But I just wanted y'all to know y'all can ride this journey with me and give me all the encouragement you can. I really appreciate that. I be sitting here laughing at your comments and stuff, and it really helped me get through what I'm going through. Like no cap, no cut. I'm hooked to this thing right now. So I just want y'all to know, and I want to tell y'all, thank y'all for all the support that y'all give me on all these platforms. Thank y'all for making me feel so great. Thank y'all for making me feel like I was up next and everything. And I hope I brought joy and laughter to you and even to the haters. I done got messages from right-wingers and Maga. They say we're not on the same political scale, but I make them laugh and I bring them joy. So thank you guys. I hope you guys can be patient with me. And I'm still be on this rocking, but it's just going to be a little bit different. But thank you guys. I'm in Charlotte at the Levine Cancer Center. You know what I'm saying? So love y'all. Hit me up. Continue to inbox me and all that stuff. And I cut my dreads out because my hair gonna grow back, and I'm putting them